98 years old, and his eyes were dim that he could not see. And the man said unto Eli, I am he that came out of the army, and I am fled today out of the army. And he said, What is there done, my son? And the messenger answered and said, Israel is fled before the Philistines, and there had been also a great slaughter among the people, and thy two sons also, Hophni and Phinehas, are dead, and the ark of God is taken. Think about it. And it came to pass when he made mention of the ark of God that he fell from off the seat backward. There was a falling away. Something was taken out of the way. Eli falls backward. Think about it. Think about what God is trying to tell you in the scriptures. This falling away is happening right now. You don't fall backwards, and it's the Spirit of God. And verse 18 again, that he fell from off the seat backward by the side of the gate, and his neck brake, and he died, for he was an old man and heavy, and he had judged Israel 40 years. And his daughter-in-law, Phinehas' wife, was with child, near to be delivered. Let me show you this again. Was with child, near to be delivered. And when she heard the tidings that the ark of God was taken, and that her father-in-law and her husband were dead, she bowed herself and travailed, for her pains came upon her. Are you seeing this? This was in this Katy Perry video. This is representing the hope now of everybody in the world, that the spark is going to come out, a full flame of divinity. And about the time of her death, the woman stood by her, said unto her, Fear not, for thou hast borne a son. But she answered not, neither did she regard it. And she named the child Ichabod, saying, The glory is departed from Israel. That's who this baby is. This child that's the allspark, that's the spark of divinity, is Ichabod. It's the man of sin. It's the Antichrist being born right in front of your very eyes. And oh, by the way, this is another little image from the Katy Perry video. Yep. That's now, I've been saying for a long time now, okay? I've been saying for a long time now, in case anybody tries to make you feel guilty about, well, how come you're not against gay marriage, or how come you're against gay marriage, how come you went to Chick-fil-A? You got to remember now that this is two guys that kiss each other on the mouth. And it's disgusting. It's an abomination before God. This is the Spirit, the allspark, the divinity, the divine. And there was another one here too. Let me pull this up. This is sort of towards the end. Now everybody is racing together to this palace. I found out it's in Bucharest. And there's this palace, and they walked through the Lion Gate. Think about that. And then they make this little, it's the I-Ching wheel is what it is. It has 8 spokes on it. Let me open up my can here. Let me show you what that represents. The beast that thou sawest was and is not, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit and go into perdition, and they that dwell on the earth shall wonder, whose names were not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world. When they behold the beast that was and is not and yet is, and here is the mind which hath wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 mountains on which the woman sitteth, and there are 7 kings. 5 are fallen, 1 is, and the other is not yet come. And when he cometh, he must continue a short space. And the beast the beast that was and is not, even he is the 8th, and is of the 7, and goeth into perdition. That's what this represents. It's showing you the beast who is the 8th, and is of the 7, that goeth into perdition. And so now it just makes sense to me. Here Katy Perry, coming out of nowhere, she used to be in the church, by the way, singing gospel music, was going to be the next Amy Grant. Boy, she had high standards. And now I believe she has sold out. She is doomed. The devil offered her riches, romance, fame, fortune, a life filled with everything that a woman can desire. She's got it. And all she has to do is let the puppet masters pull the strings of her life, and you sing the songs that we give you, and you act the stuff out in the videos that we tell you to do, and you become our little harlot, and we'll make you filthy rich. And it worked. And she is indoctrinating millions and millions and millions of girls, boys, even adults all over this world. I am telling you, people, don't fall for the line out there that says, oh, the New World Order is going to take everybody by force, going to force everybody by gunpoint, and if you don't go along with it, you're going to be in the FEMA camps. Now, I believe in all that. So I believe in the FEMA camps. But I'm just saying that this world is being so indoctrinated right now because they're disconnected from the Scriptures that they are going to willingly receive the mark. It's that simple. Oh, what's on your mind today? Emails coming in. Jenny said, hi, Pastor, what are your thoughts on the fact that we see through a glass darkly? Other than being frustrating, might this be God's way of testing, measuring our faith? Well, I think it is. If you look through a glass and you have trouble seeing, what do? You kind of go. It makes you look longer. And there are some things about the Bible that I don't understand. And because God has given me a heart to where I want to know, it just makes me look harder into the Scriptures. That's a good question. Monica says, hi, Pastor Mike, thought to send this again just in case you haven't seen it. This is about the health care bill. And what I had mentioned, the homework that you were supposed to do the other day. And Monica, I appreciate that. Monica and her husband and the cutest little boy in the whole world was here with us over the weekend. They came all the way from Texas, and we had such a good time with them, and we want them back. But anyway, Monica, I'm going to go through this. I'm going to have to look at it. There's a lot of information here, and I appreciate you sending that to me. Andrea writes in and says, should we stay away from the Club O Prophecy videos? Not trying to cause division, but I'm often impressionable and want to avoid falling prey to strange or potentially harmful doctrines. Andrea, I can tell you that when Stan started the Club O Prophecy back in the 90s, he was letting guys, there was guys speaking on all different kinds of subjects, and it was very, very interesting talk. But he also, I noticed a change in him. And something happened, and he just went wacko. And he is still wacko. Bad. And I don't trust, especially this Lindsey Williams guy that Stan has on there all the time. Lindsey Williams always is talking, he's got insider information. I don't trust that as far as I can throw you. I don't trust insider information. And so, Andrea, when I finally had the last straw with the Prophecy Club, I right then started remaking all the videos that I had done with him so that his stuff, his name would not be associated with me any longer. Okay, and I'm going to keep it that way too. So I would just avoid it. Barry wants to know who sings that song, I Found Jesus in Mexico. That is an old cathedral song. That was back when Kirk Talley and Mark Trammell was with them. DC Talk, thank you. Somebody, I've mentioned Toby Mack was part of Newsboys. He is with DC Talk. So, see, I can be wrong. Okay. Luann says, hi, Pastor Mack. Sorry didn't do the homework, but no way I'm reading 1,063 pages of the health care bill. You sound like a member of Congress, Luann. I'll just stick to the King James kingdom I belong to. Amen. And you know what? I like your attitude. She said, no fear. No fear. The fearmongers out there are inflating, and I still think it's inflated. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think in March of next year everybody's going to be lining up at gunpoint for a microchip under their skin. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think it's in the law. But you have the websites out there that are fear-mongering everybody, telling you that this is what's going to happen if Obama gets reelected. I'm not afraid. I don't have a spirit of fear over this thing. Let's see. Roanne. Good evening, Pastor Mike. First, I want to thank you for an wonderful broadcast, and God bless you and your church. Pastor, I'm living with a huge dilemma. Freemasonry hasn't crossed my mind since being a child. I then found your Watchman's broadcast and started following you and listening to your sermons and broadcasts on Freemasonry and their symbols. Now my dilemma. My dad was a Freemason before he passed away, and he left everything to me. He wasn't practicing at the time of his passing, but he did keep all of his regalia, which has been left to me, or rather my brother. but he wants nothing to do with it, so the stuff in my attic, and has been for the past 6 years. What do I do, Pastor? I'm worried. Well, first of all, Roanne, I am not of the persuasion that you have like devils in your house because of this regalia here, okay? I don't think your house is going to burn down. I don't think that it's going to cause you to spin your head round and around and vomit green stuff, okay? If you don't want to keep it, burn it, throw it away, okay? If you wanted to, you can box it up, send it to me. I'll take a look at it, take pictures of it, use it probably in a video or something like that, because I'm not really afraid of it. I have lots of Masonic books and things like that. A couple of my church, Jared and Chris, they were at a yard sale, and Jared, he loves yard sales. I mean, he is a yard sale freak. And he never pays full price for anything, not even yard sale full price. If something is labeled 50 cents, he'll say, I'll give you a quarter for it. And can't you come down to like 30 cents? How about 40? I mean, he'll never do it. So he sees a lambskin apron at a yard sale, and he said, I was going to buy it. They only wanted $5 on it, and he said, I was going to buy it and give it to you. I said, well, what happened? He said, they wouldn't come down. So anyway, if you want to send it to me, I'll take it and look at it, all right? Dan Bourne says, regarding Pastor David Jeremiah, I heard him mention once in Turning Point, this is your turning point, that the aborted babies also go to heaven, and he, having lost a child through miscarriage, will hope to see that child in heaven one day. He did quote some Bible verse, I forgot which. Is his statement true? Danny, yes, his statement is true. 2 places in the Bible. Number 1 with David and the child that was born to Bathsheba, the first one. David said, he cannot come to me, but I will go to him, meaning heaven. God also refers to, back in, I think it's in the book of Deuteronomy, your little ones having not known good or evil, that God was not going to hold them accountable. See, God was going to punish the Israelites in the wilderness by letting them die, but he said, your little ones not knowing good and evil, I'm not going to hold your sins, they're accountable. There is a point at which a child, now I'll explain it like this. There's a point at which a child wakes up one day and they realize that they can't go running around the house naked anymore. Have you ever noticed that? A child will, I mean, he'll run around going, woo, I'm out there, baby, I'm loving it. Run around naked, no problem. And then you notice one day, Mom, I forgot my clothes in the bedroom. Will you go get them for me? And he's hiding behind the door like this, okay? At that point, I think at that point, God has opened, his eyes are open, and he's accountable now for his sins. You take that back to the book of Genesis, because what happened when Adam and Eve sinned? We need some clothes here, God. So think about that. I don't think God holds babies accountable. My granddaughter, Adeline. Can't wait. Okay? Bronson says, Pastor Mike, can you explain what Jesus means in John 10:35? Do you know what? Do you know what? You're kidding me. You're kidding me, Bronson. I was going to today, I did a study of the word gods in the Bible. And I have that printed out, and I was going to do that today, and this Katy Perry and this all-seeing eye thing jumped out. I'm going to deal with that probably next week. Now, I will tell you that on Tuesday, I will probably be dealing with the digital pill from Proteus. Wait till you find out what that's all about, okay? But, Bronson, if you can bear with me, until next week, I'm going to deal with ye are gods issue, okay?